Major Bendies from the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. They're major. They're bendy. They're not a toy. Each figure comes with a card. And look, the cards are magic. Paper or plastic, why not both? Wow. They've got all the greats like Danhausen. Yeah. Whoa, consider yourself cursed. They've got Hall of Famers like Hacksaw Jim Duggan with Chase. Look at that action. 2x4 to the face. Ho! And they've got favorites like Johnny Gargano. Let's take him for a spin. Oh boy! Major Bendy's Wrestling Action Figures. Collect them all now. Part of a complete breakfast.
So I discovered Major Bendies, a wrestling action figure, not too long ago because they were doing a Hacksaw Jim Duggan pre-sale, and I love all things Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So I picked up a few of them. So the one I just showed right there, it looks like a Johnny Gargano. It was a blind loose figure, so it was just an extra one. I didn't know who it was going to be. I'm kind of happy I got Johnny Gargano because it was a character, or not a character, it's a wrestler I know. Versus some of the other ones I wasn't too familiar with, and this is one I happen to like. Then there we have the Hacksaw, and then I saw Danhausen as well, which I was familiar with Danhausen from his YouTube action figure reviews, and then after that I was introduced to his wrestling, but first introduction was through toys, which is the way it should be. So these figures look like they come with cards, which is pretty awesome. One of the main things I wanted to pick up the loose figure for is I wanted to see what they looked like out of the package because I wasn't sure how they were packaged and if I wanted to open them or not because the packaging itself is pretty nice art. So each comes with a card with like a signature on the back, and I think the loose figure also came with this like foil of the podcast hosts, which these are distributed through a podcast. So the bend itself is a not too bendy like as you would think of, like it's more like the wrestling action figures, the LJN ones from like a while ago, like one of the first wrestling figures made. However, they are much smaller than I was expecting, which in my opinion is actually a good thing. The LJN figures were gigantic. These ones are more like action figure sized, so very happy with that. It also looks like the Hacksaw that I got is a Chase version, so it looks like the black shorts and white boots are the Chase edition, and the normal typical edition is the blue shorts and the blue boots. So pretty happy that I got the Chase one, because who doesn't want a Chase when there's a chance of it? So looking at the actual figure itself, the face is amazing. It's got the Hacksaw mouth open scream. In your mind, you know he's saying ho. He's got his classic 2x4. The actual card itself of the packaging is a piece of wood, which is awesome. And then it comes with this cartoonish card with, it looks like a printed signature on the back. And then the Major Action Figure Podcast that it's from, the website on there, so you can see it as an advertisement. The back says ho on it because, you know, Hacksaw Jim Duggan is synonymous with the word ho. And actually, I'm really happy about this. If you look at the packaging itself, I've seen this a few of the smaller, more independent action figure companies and toy companies. They'll package it with a little plastic flap. It's like a wraparound. So you actually slide the card on and off and take the figure out. So it works for both in-package collectors and out-of-package collectors. So you can take it out, you can play with it, you can review it, you can touch it, but you can slide it back in, and then the packaging is perfect so it doesn't get impacted. And actually, it looks like etched on the back of Hacksaw is his signature that's actually imprinted on the figure, which is a really, really cool addition. I like that feature. And if you want to compare it to the Mattel WWF version, we can just take a look. And here is the Mattel one, a little bit shorter, very similar face. That's just his face. That's what you think of when you think of Hacksaw. And both of these are absolutely beautiful figures. I think the Major Bendies one has a somewhat of a better likeness to Hacksaw versus the Mattel one, but at the time that's a classic figure. And let's take a look at the Danhausen one, which if you just look at the tattoo on the chest, just amazing detail on a bendy figure, which is just not something you normally think of a highly detailed bendy figure. So I'm really happy with this. Got his signature on the back as well, the printed one. And let's slide him open as well. And we can take a quick look at some of the other figures in the series. We got Brian Pillman, we got Nick Gage, don't get too excited. quick glance, it does look like Nick Cage, but there's not a Nick Cage figure because he's not a wrestler yet. But Nick Cage could do anything, so you never know. So for anyone who's not familiar with Danhausen, especially if you're in the toy collecting world or you like wrestling, check him out. He's currently with AEW. He has a YouTube channel where he reviews action figures. He's absolutely hysterical. I would say he's a comedian / wrestler. He's just as good at comedy as he is wrestling. He's very nice, very evil. His persona is perfect. And yeah, just check him out. He's got a signature on the back, and I didn't notice this with Johnny Gargano. He's also got the signature. So that must be one of the features of this toy line, where they have the actual wrestler sign and then they print it on the back, which I really like that. That's pretty nifty. That makes it a little bit special. So part of Danhausen's persona is he's been compared to Conan O'Brien. So just a quick look at, part of his inspiration, but an evil possessed Conan O'Brien. So I think the Hellboy Conan O'Brien is probably a much more accurate depiction of Danhausen. So we'll put him in the back right there. All in all, I am super happy with this toy line. The prices range. I don't know if it's something to do with the wrestler or the amount of detail. So you can get figures for just a range of price. Really like these. Check them out. Thanks for watching.